let's go. So the easy way to think about stocks versus bonds are, as a stockholder, I think of it as being a part owner. As a bondholder, I think of it as being a lender, kind of like the bank. So when you're the owner of a stock, you're really making money on the growing stock price. With a bond, think of it as receiving income, kind of like collecting on rent. So stocks are about growth and bonds are about income. The first example of stock I'm going to use is from Microsoft, which I took a couple years ago. And you'll notice, yes, I'm going to look at the stock price, that number. I'm going to look at the chart, see the up and down movements. The other thing I'm going to look at are dividend yields, but I'll get into that another day. Now here's an example of a bond for Microsoft. I'm lending money to Microsoft. And really, the only number I'm interested in is what am I going to get paid for lending Microsoft money? And that's where I highlighted yield. It looks like it's around 4.5%. So I think of that bond yield similar to what savings in a bank would pay me, like interest, if I held it for a year. So that 4.5%, let's pretend I held a $100,000 bond for Microsoft that paid 4.5% in yield. I would expect after a year of holding it, I'd get around $4,500. So an example of the different bond types, like the one I just talked about, are corporate, for example, Microsoft. And the other type include government bonds or municipal bonds. And you could think of examples of government bonds that are used for public projects like infrastructure. And finally, when looking at bonds, you could look at their grades done by a third party. And yes, it's just like a report card, but way more ridiculous. So grades will start with a really high rating of a AAA and go all the way down to a D, which would be terrible, default. To keep it simple though, you could just think of the high risk ones as high reward, higher yield, low risk, low reward, lower yield. That's it for this video. Catch you on the next one. Thanks.